Live on the tube.
Tubi.
On the Tubi. Tube-tacular.
Yeah.
All right, we should be good. You ready?
All right. Yeah.
All right. Get my notes pulled up. All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Gaming with the Bros Cast. The most important episode 169.
Oh, 169.
169. There we go. You know, it's
a little bit better than episode 69.
Yes, because there's a one in front of it.
Yeah.
My name is Harrison. I am joined by my brother Nick, as always. Nick, how are you? How are you doing, buddy? On this lovely, just Zelda week, baby. I mean,
we're almost
time.
dawn of the third day.
Yeah,
so,
it doesn't feel real. Like,
I know it. It's like if you can wait this long, then this week is gonna be a piece of cake.
Yeah, just stay off Twitter, stay off of the socials, and so you don't get anything spoiled. So yes, especially stay off the Reddits. That's just asking for trouble there. But
yeah, there's a Tears of the Kingdom Reddit that like flags its spoilers.
Okay, that's good.
You can kind of choose if you want to see anything you want. There's a ToTK subreddit that for a little bit didn't tag any spoilers, and like I would go on there and I would look just like at the titles of Tears of the Kingdom subreddit's posts, and I didn't really click into any spoilers.
Yeah,
like there was a point where I watched someone play a little bit of the starting area, like 2 minutes.
Okay,
and then I was like, okay, I'm done. I just want to know one more thing about the world. And
what could you want to know, Nick, that you can't wait 4 days for?
I was just so excited for that one part. I won't even say what it is. But yeah, but it was confirmed. So
sweet.
I'm pumped. I'm excited.
Yeah.
And now I'm just staying off Reddit.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, let's before we dive into kind of what we've been playing and not a lot of news that happened this week, which is kind of expected. I think everybody's just kind of getting away from Zelda. But we're definitely going to talk about the Phil Spencer interview here shortly.
Yes,
because that set Twitter ablaze as per usual with anything else. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But Nick, what you been playing this week?
Not much this week. I was kind of all over North Carolina this week.
Yeah. Well, I guess before we, how was your week?
It was great. It was great. I went to a concert on Tuesday. That was really fun.
Yeah.
And stay with our friends Harrison and Ashley, and they just got a new dog. They just got a dog, so super cute.
Sweet. What kind of dog is it?
It's a golden retriever.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. Super cute.
One of the best dogs out there.
She's in her biting phase. So she's been teething a lot.
Little puppy nibbles.
Yeah, little puppy nibbles.
But the teeth are sharp though, so like
oh my god,
it'll break skin quick.
Yeah. That's
awesome.
That's all right. Yeah, and then went to the Wells Fargo Championship on Friday.
Yes.
That's super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like exhausting. Like we really just like walked around and watch people hit. I mean, watch people play. But even just like standing around was just so tiring.
Just standing and walking and just in the open sun is just exhausting. Like you wouldn't think that it is, but it really is.
Yeah, it was really tiring.
Yeah,
and we got back and had dinner, and then we were asleep by like 10.
Yeah.
10:30. Yeah, and then we had your son's birthday the next day.
Yeah. So we
bug themed.
Yeah, bug themed. Yeah, it was a good time. He ended up having a good time. He had just a couple of moments where it was questionable, but and I know he got up early that morning, and just being around a lot of people. Like I know it can be a whole lot when everyone's trying to grab your attention and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it was successful. We spent all week preparing, whether it was putting together our gazebo or painting or got a new grill. So a lot went into it, but it was definitely worth it. And by the time we hung out for a little bit after everybody left. I think we were all in bed by 10:30 that night. We were just
I bet.
exhausted
Yeah.
from just
And you
being in
guys
the
went
sun all
out.
day. Yeah, just being in the sun all day, just walking around and stuff. We fired up the grill one more time, and made some extra burgers and some like hot dogs and stuff. Ate and then passed out at 10:30, and then yeah, Sunday was pretty chill. I didn't really do much Sunday. I just I cleaned my grill because I'm making sure I'm staying on top of that, just
Nice.
getting it nice and clean. So I did that.
Responsible.
Yeah, and Brittany had to work that night, so I ended up just kind of cleaning up the yard and got that pretty spotless because there was a lot of stuff everywhere. But
Hell yeah.
but yeah, it was a good weekend. It was a good weekend.
Nice, man. I spent a little bit of my Sunday playing Redfall.
Yes.
So the rumors are true.
Yeah, it's not. So I don't think. So I've been playing some more Xenoblade 3, the Future Redeemed DLC. I don't really have much to say about it. It's still really good. I'm about 7 hours in, so I'm getting probably about to the halfway point. So I'm gonna try to finish that up by Friday, but we'll see. In regards to Redfall, I don't think it's as bad as everyone says it is. It's bad, but people on Twitter were just like
they were tearing it a new one.
Destroying it like it's the worst game of all time, and it's certainly not the worst game. It's probably one of the most uninspiring games of all time. There's just nothing to it. It doesn't feel like, and I know it's not the main Arcane studio that made it, but it really feels. I mean, outside of like the frames problem, the frames per second problem, the dipping in frame rate, the bad AI, there's just nothing to it. There's nothing.
It's just boring.
Yeah, it's just boring. I booted up for about 30 minutes on Tuesday night, and the intro was cool. You start out on the boat and like you walk out and like all the water's above there, and like the vampires like somehow blocked out the sun. Like I was like, all right, this is like a pretty cool concept. Like, what is going on? Yeah. And then you get into the gameplay and it's just not fun. And then I booted it up for the next night. I played for about like another hour or so, did a few missions, gave it a chance. Just boring. Just really boring.
So how far did you get? Because like I got to the fire station, set up the hub, and then went out on the first mission after that, where you like have to go to 2 different locations.
Yeah,
I did the first one of those.
Yeah, I completed both of those. Yeah, I mean the vampires were super boring. I mean it was weird because like some were out in the daylight and some weren't. So I don't really know the concept of that. I mean, and then some like you could go into the house and they were like asleep, and you fought them and they're super easy to kill. Like every enemy is very easy to kill, which I guess is fine because like you don't necessarily want them to be bullet sponges, but I expected it to be a little bit more of a challenge. And yeah. I mean, we were talking about before we started, but I got to the fire station and I noticed that like this one enemy kept missing me like 3 times. I was like, let me just pause for about 10 seconds. And I think out of all the shots, he hit me 1 time. And I was just like, what is this game? Like, what are they doing? So, I mean, yeah, it on one hand, I don't think it's the worst game of all time that everyone on Twitter is saying. But also like this is the first $70 first party Xbox exclusive game.
Like, is this what the future holds?
And you can't even give us real cutscenes. You give us these still cutscenes.
Yeah, that's weird. That's super weird.
It's bad. Cutscene. Yeah, it's really I don't want to say lazy, but it feels really
like rushed.
Yeah, it feels super rushed.
Clearly not. Like it had multiple delays. I'm wondering what the game would have looked like if it came out earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just super boring because like in that mission where you have to go to get the supply caches, one of them like is like 500 meters away or 500 paces away or whatever.
Yeah.
And I walked there and I ran into one enemy.
Yeah, that's
on
the thing.
Way there, and I was like, "What the hell?" Like
the
game just
so
started
empty.
In it. Yeah, it's super empty. And I don't know. It's kind of like a weird feeling. Like it just didn't, like nothing felt right, you know?
Yeah.
Super strange.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like they're I don't really know how to describe it. I mean, it's got like the looter shooter kind of vibes. You know, you've got the different kind of like skins for your guns that do extra damage and stuff. Like it's weird. Like I really don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I really don't know. Like, and I don't think they really did a great job of explaining what's going on in the story. It just feels like they kind of just drop you into it. I mean, so many people were saying, you know, it should have been delayed, but
A delay
again,
wouldn't
but
have
like
helped.
what, like yeah, maybe they would have ironed out the frames and got it up to 60, but I don't want to play this game even in 60. It just feels boring. And maybe playing in co-op is more fun. Like everyone could be miserable together. Like that's always a better experience, right? But
Yeah, yeah.
it's just
But still,
nothing seems interesting about this game at all.
like comparing this game, like even to something like Back for Blood, which like I didn't love. And
Yeah.
I only played a couple of
I
missions
didn't
of
yeah,
it,
I
but
didn't give
like
it a shot to even have an opinion on Back for Blood. I
just weren't feeling
just
it.
wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, but like that one I can see being very fun with 4 players,
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
like Left 4 Dead was. But this, it's like, what are you aiming? What are you aiming towards? What are you aiming for? Like it's not a it doesn't have any like microtransactions. It's not a live service game, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it's not, but I almost feel like it would be more enticing if it was, because you
Yeah, I
have
mean,
something to work towards.
yeah, I mean, it
I don't know.
feels
I don't know.
like. I mean,
It's a weird
we'll
game.
talk about the interview here in a second, but I mean, it almost feels like it should have been just like a Xbox, like what's their like preview program or whatever, kind of like their
Oh, it's
early
a
access
game preview.
game preview. Like I feel like if they would have dropped this on game preview and it would have been like this, I think it would have been fine. Like so many people are like, oh yeah, this is has some maybe some legs to it. Like maybe you know once they flesh everything out, like it could be like a really cool
Admonitions,
experience.
whatever.
But the fact that this thing is $70 is
Yeah, that's rough.
crazy to me. Um, you know, again, alluding to the interview a little bit, Phil had said that you know this game was already in development prior to them, you know, acquiring Bethesda. And you know, he kept saying, you know, we want all our studios to have the freedom to do what they want to do. We don't want to. He's like, we don't want to jeopardize like creativity. That's just not our mission. But they probably just should have seen it and said, hey, maybe we should just cancel this thing because it's just not panning out. And I think it would have
Yeah.
been better to just not have it released at all. You know, in the state of you know Xbox's kind of circumstance with you know how they're you know how they don't have any games yet. You know, you started off the year great with like the developer direct, and then you know Hi-Fi Rush dropped, and that was critically acclaimed. You know, and then maybe it was the sales maybe weren't supposed to be, but it's like, well, what is it supposed to do? Like, it's not going to sell well because there's no marketing behind it. Like, that was a little bit confusing, and then we get Redfall.
Yeah, and of course you get like Minecraft Legends and you know a couple of big Game Pass games like Atomic Heart and then you know Ghostwire coming over. But
well,
yeah,
Ghostwire like runs worse on Xbox than it did PlayStation.
yeah,
So what's up with
like
that?
a kick in the teeth there.
I mean, Atomic Heart is. I'm sure some people liked it, but it just didn't hit for me. And then Minecraft Legends. I don't think anybody expected that game to review like you know in the 80s or 90s. I think it's like at a 70 something, and that's fine. Like it's Minecraft. Like Minecraft will sell itself, and I'm sure that will do pretty well for them. But man,
this was the big game. Like this game closed their 2021 E3 presentation. Like
yeah,
this was their one more thing, and you know it feels weird that we're here and it just like universally hated.
and it's crazy because like that trailer that they ended on in E3, it looked really cool, and there's no cutscene like that in this game, you know. And I haven't finished the game or anything, and I do not plan on finishing it, but you know, you like more work was putting into that cutscene or that trailer than any cutscene in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's so weird. Like
And it's a cool
like the only-
concept. Like you're stuck on an island with a bunch of vampires. Like they somehow have these crazy sidekick powers where they can, I don't know, cause the water to I don't know, go up in the air so you can't like
blocks out the sun.
yeah, and then block out the sun. Like there's all these really cool aspects, and then you get into the game and it's just not fun at all. So
It's like, I don't want to read all these journals when
yeah,
when I'm not really enticed by the story outside of the introduction, and even that like wasn't anything groundbreaking, but it was like it was enough at first. Like it was a good enough introduction. It fell flat immediately when you get to the fire station and you're playing against like brain dead AI.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like, that each take like 2 shots.
Yeah,
to kill. Like it. I don't know, man. Felt like a waste. And
yeah,
I was like, dude, I really don't like this. And then I switched back over to Ghostwire Tokyo, and I was like, okay, I'll give this another shot. I was like, man, I don't like this one either.
yeah. I mean, I wanted to form my own opinion because I went to bed like Monday night, and like reviews were dropping, and I heard it was horrible, and I was like, well, let me just see.
Let's try it out.
Like I don't know if it's just Twitter keyboard warriors just trolling. And I was like, no, maybe some of them are right. Some of them are not right. Like again, I don't think it's the worst game in the world. Like, but it's just not fun. Not a good game.
Not a good look.
Yeah, not a good look
for Microsoft, and it makes me really worried about Starfield.
Yeah, and again, going to the interview, Phil said that they were more hands on with Starfield. Like they were helping out a lot more with Starfield. So I have higher hopes, but also like I feel bad for the Starfield team because they have so much pressure on. They already had a lot of pressure because it's the next big Bethesda game.
Oh yeah,
and we're in a different world now where that Bethesda jank may not appeal to as much people anymore because it's a first party game, because we're coming off of Redfall being horrible, and then this is the next big first party exclusive for Xbox. They have a lot to live up to, and I feel bad. I really do.
Like you can't just put out a Skyrim. You can't do that in 2023 like you could in 2011.
Yeah,
it's a different landscape. People have like you said, different expectations, and I don't know, man. The gameplay that we saw from Starfield, it wasn't
that appealing,
like
to be honest. Yeah.
And like I don't know why they chose to show off like that portion of it, like the gunplay, when they really should have showed off the exploration. If that's like the thing that they're talking about so much, it's like, oh, you can travel this solar system.
So that's what I care about. Like I don't really care about the combat.
Like
because the combat's not
gonna be
really
Bethesda
ever
combat. It's gonna be janky combat. Yeah, it's gonna like.
I mean, Skyrim, like I think Skyrim and Oblivion combat was more fun than like Fallout. But it was still just like you're just swinging your sword like a madman, and it means nothing. But I thought the combat was more fun in that, even though it's pretty basic. But the exploration and the side quests and the stories, that's what you come for a Bethesda game, and we'll get that with Starfield. But it's a different landscape, like you said. It's just it's got to be perfect game to win over people.
And like, can you be a stealthy archer in Starfield? We don't know.
Yeah,
that's what 99% of the Skyrim players end up as, because the melee combat doesn't feel satisfying.
It doesn't feel good at all.
No.
I don't know, man. I'm still excited for Starfield. Like I have like high hopes for it. And I think it'll be a great game, but it does make you worry a little bit though when Redfall comes out and it's the same publisher, right? I mean, or same developer now, I guess, but different team, but still within the Bethesda family. So I don't know, man.
It sounds like Redfall was like conceptualized back years ago when everyone was on the live service game bandwagon, and it came out 2 years too late.
But there's nothing live servicey about it. It feels like a live service game, but there's nothing there.
I feel like it used to be, and they stripped it all out, and it left like this bare bones kind of nothing experience.
Man, that out of all the games in the world, or out of all the genres in the world, I really want live service to come to an end. Like, just let Destiny do its thing, and that's like the only one that's really been successful and people actually enjoy. But
chill
just
with
let
the
it, yeah.
4-player co-op games.
Let's just stop this live service nonsense. Like, it's just not where it's at.
And while we're on the subject, I think they should just cancel Suicide Squad.
They absolutely should. Like, what are they? I mean, it's been in development for 8 years. Oh my god, man! 8 years that game's been in development, and that's what they give us is just this
generic shooter.
Oh my god, dude.
When you have such unique characters,
it's the
they all carry guns.
They all have guns, and they're shooting purple stuff.
Man, if I see another purple gun, another orange gun, green, I swear to God, it was Borderlands.
Yeah, Borderlands started it. I mean, that it's their fault, but Borderlands wasn't live service. It was a really fun.
It just had a bazillion guns.
It had a bazillion guns, and it was super fun co-op. Like, it was like the perfect co-op experience. And then people just evolved that. And granted, that came from like World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft had, all the same loot colors and stuff like that. So it's not a necessarily new concept, but it was new to consoles and new to shooters and stuff like that. The Schluter idea, and it's just too much, man. It's so much, and we don't need every game doesn't need that style of stuff in it. It's crazy.
Yeah, the last thing I'll say about Redfall is it was kind of marketed as like one of those games where you're really communicating with your team. And after playing Redfall, I see no need to communicate anything.
Who did you pick as your as the class or whatever?
I picked I can't remember her name. It might be Sasha. She has a shield that can absorb.
Oh, okay.
Bullets.
I picked the girl with the robot little thing.
Yeah.
Which I used it really only effective once because again the enemies are so easy to kill. It was like the first safe house I found. I was coming up on there's like 3 or 4 enemies in front of me, and I used it, and it's pretty cool. Like, it wags like its tail like super fast, so where it creates like a little exclamation point on there, and it attracts the enemies, and it did. And I snuck around the building, and then like blasted them from the back. So like that worked really really well. But then after that, it was just I didn't use it again in that way because the enemies again are just so easy to kill. It's just
like right at the beginning area, I walked up within inches of an enemy and just stood behind him for a second just to see what would happen, and nothing happened until I shot them.
Yeah,
it's just stuff like that really.
And again, like maybe if you were with a group of like, it's 4-player co-op, right?
4, yeah.
Like again, if you were in a group with 4 people, and you guys are playing through it again, being miserable together, I think it could probably be pretty fun, right? Because it's just stupid but like
that can be said about anything though.
Yeah, that is true. So I don't know, man. It's just not good. It's not good. And it's a shame because again, like you said, this was like their big tentpole game at the end of the E3 that one year, and then they had the stream, their developer direct, and it looked so much better than what we got, and it's a shame.
Yeah, definitely a shame.
All right, let's briefly talk about Tears of the Kingdom. It's launch week. Nick, what are your plans for Zelda?
So I'm getting it digitally. So
okay.
I'm gonna play it at midnight, probably a few hours, maybe until 2 a.m. Go to bed. I'm working on Friday, so I can't stay up too late.
Yeah.
And I'll probably wake up and play a little bit more in the morning.
Of course.
For work. And then maybe, man, during work, that's why I try to get so much work done before.
Unload it all on Thursday.
Yeah. And then maybe at lunch, I will go to Best Buy and pick up my Pro Controller and Amiibo.
Yeah.
If not, I'll just go after work. But
Yeah.
and then Friday night,
All
I
hands
put
on
it
deck.
on. I put it on my calendar on me and my wife's shared calendar.
Yeah.
She's like, "Did you put Zelda?" I was like, "Yeah, I did."
I do not exist
Yeah,
for this day.
don't even look at me. All you will see is shame and enjoyment.
Yeah, no shame, just pure enjoyment. She
absolutely
can
no shame.
enjoy it together with you while you're creating just happiness in the game.
Yeah, we were listening to IGN's NVC podcast, and they were talking about like all the things you can do in the game. She's like, "Hey, this sounds pretty fun." I
Yeah,
was like, "Yeah, you wait. It's gonna be an incredible time."
I can't wait.
I just can't wait to like. I can't wait to build some stupid flying machine and just run off of the side of an island.
Yeah, I honestly just can't wait for, and again, we talked about this before, but I just can't wait for like everybody to come together and just create awesome like little videos and stuff like that, shorts, TikToks, whatever it is. Because I feel like that's the last time like the world was together in something. It was Elden Ring, and now we're getting it again with Zelda. It's gonna be bliss. It's gonna be awesome.
And this is what I'm telling myself, is that I feel bad for everyone who emulated it and downloaded the leaked game, or like looked at all of the spoilers and stuff, because like they're playing it with reviewers right now who can't necessarily share their excitement with the world.
Yeah.
We get to play it with everybody else.
Yep.
And that is super cool. So if you're thinking about looking at leaks, just remember that, and remember that you're going to experience this game with everybody else, and that's awesome. You
it's zeitgeist. It's
you can't
something you'll never get to experience again if you run it for yourself. That's fine if you want to play it early. That's totally on you. But I can wait 4 days. I can wait 4 days.
Yeah, if I can wait 4 years since it's been announced, then what's another 4 days?
Exactly. So I am picking the game up physically, and I had contemplated buying it digitally so I could just play it at midnight, but I was like, no, like I'll get up with my son, take him to school. My plan is I pre-ordered it at Best Buy, so I'm going to go to Best Buy and get my Amiibo, the controller, and the game. Still, the collector's edition has still eluded me. It has eluded you. So my plan is I'm going to go to Target, and try to see if I can get it there, and then make my way to Best Buy, and then come home and play all day. Because my mom, our mom is retired, so we always send her like our schedule or Brittany's schedule for picking up Kellen, and Brittany was like, "Yeah, you need to pick him up Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday." And I was like, "Well, I mean, I'm off Friday. I could pick him up." She was like, "Are you gonna be able to get away from Zelda?" I was like, touche, but yes, I can pick up our son for 30 minutes or whatever.
I could take 30 minutes out.
Yeah, give myself a little bit of a break.
Go see the world a little bit.
Yeah, touch some grass a little bit.
Touch some grass, and then go play Zelda and touch some more grass.
Yeah, touch some more beautiful grass. So
luscious grass.
Yeah,
I do want to talk about one thing.
Yeah.
That I did see. It's not a leak, but some of the impressions were talking about some frame rate issues that occurred in the game when there were a lot of enemies on screen. And there was a day one patch
there's like a 1.1.0 patch or something like that.
Yeah, and apparently the game runs even better than Breath of the Wild now. Like it's people are saying that it runs flawlessly.
Oh wow. So, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, like Breath of the Wild had some pretty bad frame rate dips, but the game's still incredible. So like if Tears of the Kingdom came out and it ran the same as Breath of the Wild, but also gave us all this awesome like mechanics and stuff, I'm gonna let it slide.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But yeah, I did hear about that too. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Apparently there were like a lot of dips with the Ultra Hand ability.
Yeah,
we can use that, but apparently that's all.
I mean, if we can get a lock 30 for this game, I mean that's huge.
Incredible. That's
huge. I mean, again, what other game? Tell me another game right now on the Series X and PS5 that are allowing you to go from the sky to land to underground to the sea, whatever it is, flawlessly without any sort of like loading or anything. There is none. So,
and like this game is probably even bigger than we think it is.
yeah.
And the fact that it's probably going to be somewhat of a locked 30 is awesome.
Yeah, and that's not the fanboy in me. Like, I'm sure Spider-Man will be able to do the same thing. Like, I expect Spider-Man
that'll hit 60
to run 60 and play flawlessly. But right now, like, there's no other game that does that. Like, look at God of War. Like, how many God of War is like the slide through the crevice of the cliff game. Like, it's an amazing game, but you probably did that like 150 times in that game. Yeah, and I never had a problem with it. Like, it was always a really cool transition on how they did it, but it was to hide loading. I mean, that's what it's there for. You go underneath when you're in the boat. You go underneath the little dock because it loads up the other side. Like, that's fine, but you did it so many times, and I don't think we'll get that once with Zelda. You know,
that's like that would be like the equivalent of jumping off of a sky island and then going through a bunch of clouds.
Yeah,
that come out of nowhere. And then the game world trickles in below. But it's seamless. Like,
it seems so. Yeah.
It appears that way. I think it is. I think it's completely seamless.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that, like, when that the Aonuma presentation, like when he gets swatted off the skyline, I don't think that was altered in any sort of way. I think that was just straight up gameplay.
That was just gameplay. Yeah.
You want to switch over and then we'll jump into the news.
Yeah.
Cool. Gonna switch over. All right, so since we're talking about Zelda, we'll just briefly mention that there's a Treehouse live stream on May 11th at, what is it, 9 o'clock?
Yeah, I think it's 9 p.m. EST.
Is that kind of weird to you?
Yeah, it's super weird. Like, why would you? I mean, I'm probably not going to watch anything from it.
I'm not going to watch it at all because I don't
spoil anything at that point.
Yeah, I felt like it would have made more sense to do like a 30-minute live stream like each day leading up to Tears of the Kingdom, but to do it a few hours before the game launches, like, that just seems kind of pointless. I mean, I'm glad they're doing it.
Maybe it's just more like a celebration.
Yeah, maybe so.
Anything.
Yeah.
What's going on, Noodles? What's going on, man?
Yeah, what's up, Noodles?
Noodles, are you picking up Tears of the Kingdom this week? Yeah, I don't know. I'm never
gonna like not complain for like any sort of like a Treehouse event because that's always like special. But yeah, why would they show us? But yeah, it just feels weird like a couple hours before the launch. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe do they ever do like giveaways and stuff during these things, or is it just purely?
No, I don't think so.
Do we know who's like hosting it and playing? No. Okay. I don't know if they had like a specific like live like I know. I mean, they don't do it anymore, but like Kit and Krista, they used to do like the minute Nintendo Minute, whatever. They've got their own podcast now, but like something like they had like a certain people that always did the Treehouse stuff.
Yeah. Oh, you're playing it right now. This guy.
This guy, he couldn't wait.
I hope you're enjoying it.
Yeah, I hope it's great. Let's dive into the main, really, I guess the main topic of the show really is Phil Spencer came on Kind of Funny's Xcast, their Xbox podcast, and yeah, I mean, I will give Phil, like, again, I like Phil Spencer. I think he's a great head of Xbox.
I think he's a cool guy.
Yeah, he's very charismatic, and I, to be honest, like, I don't think any other head of anything would come on a show right like the day after one of their big first party games launched, and it's had horrible reviews.
And the week after their acquisition got blocked too.
Exactly,
Like, it's
exactly.
a whirlwind of bad news.
Like that, like I would have thought like a PR guy would have said, hey, Phil can't make it this week, we'll reschedule or something like that. But no, he came on there and you could tell he's stressed out. He's upset. Like you could tell he genuinely cares about the stuff that they put out on Xbox. But yeah, it's still a shame. It's still a shame. What I watched the whole thing. Did you watch the whole thing?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
It was a good interview.
Yeah, it was. So I did a video on it, but I'll talk about that here, in a second. But like, what are your like thoughts coming away from the interview overall? As as an overall fan of gaming, you have an Xbox, I have an Xbox. Yeah. So what's your headspace at for Xbox in general?
I mean, it's kind of what he said in the interview. You can talk all you want, but at the end of the day, you gotta show it with your games.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at right now. We're like Xbox and all the marketing team, they've been hyping up the future of Xbox for years. 3 years.
Yeah.
For years at this point. And we really haven't seen that come to fruition yet. Like we haven't seen any games from any of the recently acquired developers or studios. Like we just haven't seen anything until like we see games like Hellblade and Avowed, and I mean I don't even know what else they have. That the thing is they've announced title cards for a lot of games.
Exactly.
We haven't seen in 2 years. Like what's going on with those? Like why even mention them other than to fill 30 seconds of a presentation? Like just cut down your presentation, show it when it's ready to show. And there's no point in hyping up something like Contraband that we literally know nothing about. Like there's nothing to be hyped for because they didn't show anything. Maybe if they showed a trailer.
That is the biggest thing I want to change. Well, not me necessarily, but that I want for people to change in the gaming industry is stop announcing stuff like 4 years in advance. Like Tears of the Kingdom, like it should have not been announced in 2019. They could have announced it in 2020 or 2022 and gave us a year of whatever. But yeah, that's like the frustrating part is they announce some cool stuff like and especially like a title card like Metro Prime 4, for example. Like where is that at? So. Like that's the most, and I know that these companies want to have really awesome things at their presentations, and I get that, and they want to build hype and excited for the brand and all this stuff. But like when you get a title card, like you said, and then you're waiting 3 years later, like it's horrible.
Like the Metroid Prime was announced in 2017.
17, dude. Like
the Switch, like the same year the Switch launched.
And we have no idea. We obviously know that it was kind of scrapped and redone. It's being picked up.
It was restarted. Yeah.
Yeah. I do not like that trend in gaming. It's one of the worst trends in gaming by far, and it's been going on forever. It's not necessarily this generation, but it's bad. But going back to the Phil Spencer thing, there was a lot of stuff in this interview that I agreed with, like where at the very beginning where he's talking about Xbox, we're in third place. We're not necessarily trying to out console or outsell PS5 and Switch because let's face it, it's not going to happen, right?
Yeah.
But they have already they've expanded their market into Game Pass, into getting their stuff everywhere. So whether it's on phones, whether it's on PC, the console itself, TVs now, they still have that that stick that's supposed to be coming out or whatever, the streaming stick. So they've been doing that since kind of Phil takeover, and I got not upset, but like there's this one person, he was like, when are you gonna he said something, I can't stand a fanboy and this and that. I'm like, what part of my video that I made did I sound like I was being a fanboy? I was like, did you watch the whole video? No, I didn't watch it. I just watched the first. All I said in the first 30 seconds is I respect Phil and I like Phil, what he does. I don't agree that he should be fired or he should step down or Xbox should die and stop making games and become a publisher, because let's face it, Nintendo is the top dog, right? This is not like fanboy. They outsell everything console wise, and they outsell everything software wise. They are the top
especially
dog.
software.
They are the top dog, and you cannot, even if you're a fanboy or not, you cannot deny that truth. Xbox and PlayStation are the true competitors to each other.
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation obviously sells way better than Xbox does, software and game wise, or in console wise. And when Xbox launched, they dominated the 360 era. They had so many great first party games, but they also got a lot of first year exclusives like BioShock. Like that was a huge get that didn't come to PS3 until like a year or so later. So they had all these really great partnerships with third parties. Same with Call of Duty. And then Xbox One came out, and they just lost sight of that. They lost sight of like what made the 360 so great and how it dominated. And I honestly think that from what I've read, that PlayStation 4 was also going to be online only as well, and they reverted it at the last minute because they got wind that Xbox was doing that, and the backlash was so bad that they switched sides, and then they were the dominant platform. And Phil was right, because he said, PlayStation won the most important generation because a lot of people, went digital, and that's where that's where their software is, and that's where their library of games is. So they're just going to jump to the next PlayStation platform. So yeah, I agree with all that stuff. So Nick, I've been talking a lot. How do you feel about that stuff?
No, I think that's a good point. And like Phil made the comment of, oh, no one's going to sell their PlayStation and switch over to Xbox. I'm like, yeah, that's not necessarily what you should be aiming for. Like I certainly wouldn't sell my Xbox and switch. I mean, I have a PS5, so I'm not switching anywhere, but like you want people to want to have your console in addition to whatever other console they have. Like a Nintendo Switch, a lot of people have a Switch in addition to either a PC or PlayStation 5 or Series X. Like you want it to almost be complementary. Like it doesn't have to be a direct competitor with PlayStation. If you have enough exclusives like Starfield and Redfall, then people will want to buy your console and have that in addition to their PlayStation 5. So like his comment almost made it seem like it was kind of black and white of like, oh, you're going to have one console or the other. It's really not. Like if Bloodborne 2 came out on PS5, you'd pick that up.
I would get a PS5 immediately, because that game that's a killer app. That's like a game that sells consoles.
Like all it takes is one killer game, and if Starfield's that game, then they're gonna pick up a lot of new players.
Yeah, and guess what? Like, you've got Game Pass, you've got stuff. You've got your stuff everywhere. So like if you, and that's and like you said, that's the one thing I don't agree with what he said is he says, Starfield can come out today and it'd be an 11 out of 10 game, and it's not going to cost somebody to sell their PS5 and come over and jump ship. You're right. Nobody's going to sell their $500 console for $300, come back and buy another $500 console to play a game. Yeah, nobody's doing that. But they can play on PC, or they can play on their TV, or they can play on, their they could get an Xbox. What's the Series S for? Is that not like the entry level console that why else would this thing exist?
Yeah.
To get people in, right? At a pretty, relatively low budget, system. Why else is this made for? That's how you want people to get into the consoles, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like his frustrations, maybe in his emotions, kind of took over like the sensibility of like of it all, and why what they're doing, and you could feel like, again, like you could feel it. You could feel his frustrations. You could feel the emotions. You could feel he was upset. And again, that's why I give him props for doing the interview in the first place, because nobody else is going to do that. Nobody. But also, it was probably important for him to come out and talk about all this stuff, because Xbox is just not in a good place, and they've got so many studios, so many games in development. that have the potential to be incredible, but we're still waiting. They keep saying, wait next year, wait until next year, wait until next year. Well, when's the year?
Yeah, and like it's a catch-22 because you can't rush it. Because then the games will come out stale. They'll come out bad. And they'll get even more flack for it. So like I understand why he's frustrated. It's like you want to tell people to wait, but he understands that people are tired of waiting.
Yeah.
People are tired of listening. People just want to play.
Yeah. And I'll make one more point with the games not selling system and them losing the previous generation. And I made this point in my YouTube video, but look at the Wii U. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That thing sold 13 and some change million units.
Million. Yeah.
Something like that. The worst console that Nintendo's ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And they made the Switch, right? There's no digital crossover. Those stores did not translate into the Switch.
No.
And the Switch is like what, the third best selling or fourth? Is it the third?
I think it's the third.
The third best selling console of all time. And why did people get the Switch, Nick? Because of the Wii U, because it was so good? No, they got it because of Zelda. They got it because of Mario. They got it because of
Smash Brothers.
Smash Brothers, Animal Crossing. All these must-have killer... Xenoblade, yeah. All these must-have... Mario Kart, all these must-have like killer app games that's a must-have.
Yeah.
Games sell consoles, and that's the one point that I did not agree with Phil Spencer. And again, I know he knows that. He's obviously an incredible businessman. I mean, when he came into Xbox, they had, I think, 4 studios total, and he got them up to like 22 or 23.
Mm-hmm.
But, we just haven't really seen like the
other 18 studios.
Exactly. So I know he knows that. And again, that's where I go back to the point where I think he was just so emotional that he just was just saying stuff and not necessarily thinking, but yeah, I mean, if Nintendo can do that and come off of the horrible sales of the Wii U and turn it around with no digital crossover, I think Xbox can do the same thing. They've got to have excellent games to do it. That's what comes down to it.
And it's hard too, because
and Pokemon, Noodles. Pokemon, of course.
Of course,
the fastest selling, crappiest running Pokemon game of all time. Yeah.
It's like. So I think it might be a little bit different for the Switch.
You like Redfall?
Oh man, well, good. I'm glad you did. It's a little bit different with the Switch because like Nintendo's always innovating on their consoles.
Yeah,
and they had the Wii that sold a ton. They tried something new with the Wii U, and they didn't have the killer apps at first, and 2, no one understood what it was. The marketing was really bad.
That's the thing. Yeah, the marketing was horrible. They had amazing games for the Wii U. I mean, we talked about it before, but when you and I were watching the E3 presentation of the Wii U announcement, we're like, is this a tablet? And then I think we had to go back and watch it, and we're like, oh no, there's
we had to zoom in on the console.
I was like, oh no, that's longer than the Wii itself. That's new. Yeah,
and this is coming from 2 pretty avid gamers. It's my God, that was such a bad. Terrible marketing, but
it was terrible marketing.
But my point is with Xbox and PlayStation, all you need to do is release a more powerful console. They're not really innovating too much on top of that, aside from with the DualSense controller having haptic feedback and the Xbox controller being good. It's really good. It's one of the best controllers. It feels amazing, but what are they doing aside from putting out a more powerful console? Just do that and then have the games with it. Have the games that show off how great the console is. Yeah, I mean, you got your showcases like Forza and stuff, and those games are always fantastic. But Forza doesn't sell systems. It just doesn't. Unfortunately,
and they're all great. I loved Horizon 5, but that was the first, I think, Forza really racing game that I probably put more than 5 hours into. I probably put 10 or so, but that's way more than I ever expected to play a racing game, and it was just really fun. But yeah, I mean, like you said, the PS5, Xbox and PlayStation, they don't, just like you said, just better graphics. They don't really, PlayStation does their thing with the VR stuff and stuff like that. Xbox does they both do a really good job with like accessibility, but like Xbox has got their accessibility controller, which is awesome. And they're doing a lot of great things in that space. And I mean, all the first party PlayStation games are just the insane stuff like The Last of Us 2 does. It's just crazy. Like all the stuff they could do there, and that's awesome. But yeah, as far as like the innovation goes, like they just look better. They look better and better. And when we're 3 years into the consoles now, and we're still having to choose between performance and fidelity mode. Like
that sucks.
Crazy to me, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and kind of going back on my point a little bit, it's like Nintendo at the same time kind of has it easy because they innovate so much. So people are like, oh, like I'm gonna get a Switch because I want to be able to play in bed. I want to be able to play on the go.
Yeah,
like you have to choose between an Xbox and a PlayStation, which are pretty similar,
more or less the same thing.
So it does come down to the games.
Yeah.
It comes down to the exclusives at that point. It's like, oh, I want to play God of War.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to play Halo and play Redfall.
Yeah, because it's to the point where it used to be, where my friends playing. Okay, they're playing on PlayStation. I'll play Call of Duty there, but now everything is cross-gen at this point.
So it's not Call of Duty that's keeping it on a console.
Yeah, it's just like do you prefer? I mean, do you prefer the off stick or the
yeah
off stick controller, or you've got Sony with their crazy cool haptic feedback controller, or so yeah, it's about the games. That's the end of the day. That's what it's about. That's what sells systems.
Yeah, portability, Noodles, that's a huge factor. Like I know a lot of people who probably played 90% portable on the Switch.
Yeah,
some people never put it in the dock.
Here lately, I've been playing a ton just in portable mode. I'll just be watching. I'll throw some garbage TV on and just play some games. Like it's
nice.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're kind of getting off topic with the Phil Spencer thing, but with what Nintendo does next with their console, I don't know if I think the Switch is like the perfect hybrid. Like I think the Joy-Cons need to be better, of course. But I feel like they absolutely nailed it with the Switch.
Yeah. I don't even know what I would want them to do aside from another Switch.
Maybe like a bigger screen or something. I don't know.
Maybe, or maybe just better Joy-Cons, and they need to ditch the motion. See, I don't even know if they need to ditch the motion controls.
Nah, they do. I never use that. I never use that garbage.
Okay, but gyro controls are pretty good.
I play Splatoon with the sticks. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's blasphemous, man, dude. Okay, even in Zelda, you don't use gyro when you're aiming your bow and arrow. You use sticks
like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. For the fine tuning.
Maybe.
Well,
I can't remember.
We'll see on Friday.
Yeah, we'll see on Friday. I might come back and be like, "This is the worst game ever." They have motion controls. But no, I could just use the key side ball. So why do I need gyro?
True. Oh, you're right.
What are we doing, Nick? What are we doing?
Aiming in 2023?
Aiming? I want to close my eyes. Yeah. I think you're right. I think the Switch, the form factor is just perfect. Just improve upon that, and we'll be fine. Any last thoughts on the Phil Spencer interview?
I think he was obviously upset, and he might have said some things that were taken out of context by the PlayStation community. They took it and ran with it.
Yeah.
And
again, I'll go back to the fact you do not want PlayStation having a monopoly over the gaming market. Like I know Switch, like I said, Switch is Nintendo's above everything, but yeah, you need competition. Competition. It breeds like innovation and excellence, and as a PlayStation gamer, like you shouldn't necessarily want Redfall to fail. You should want it to succeed, and that way PlayStation can make something even cooler. And kind of breed, use those ideas and make something of their own. And I know. Yeah, I never really understood that the mentality of wanting something to fail.
I
But
don't know, man.
I mean, we talked some crap about Forspoken, but yeah, I don't know. That game
what are you
just
gonna
looked
do? But like, do you want 10 more God of Wars set in the same style? Do you want 10 more Last of Us? Like, you want you want Sony and PlayStation to innovate
yeah,
and create new experiences, new games, and not just do what is familiar.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's my thing. It's like PlayStation. They have some of the greatest. And I always feel like it's a caveat when I say this, but they have some of the greatest games of the last like 10 years, but they're all third person like adventure shooter games. Like they're right. They've ever since The Last of Us came out, PlayStation has like dramatically shifted their formula for their games. That's not necessarily a bad thing. How long is that high going to last though? How long can they keep making not the same game? I'm not saying that, but how long can they keep using the same formula where you've got your I don't know you got your level based stuff that opens up into like a kind of a not necessarily an open world but like an open zone with like God of War and stuff like that, and then you go back into the main like level based stuff, and then you open up again. I know Gears of War did the same thing when it came out in 2019 or whatever, but how
many times can you do it?
Yeah, where's like the innovation? Like, I mean, I would love to play Last of Us Part 3. Yeah, I don't know what they would do with the story, but do I want to go through the same thing again? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's either that or open world right now. That's kind of the two big things between Horizon and like Ghost of Tsushima. That's why I'm excited. Like, I'm excited for Spider-Man because it's going to be somewhat contained.
Yeah.
It's probably going to take place either in New York City or somewhere in the multiverse.
We're going to space, baby.
Going to space. Taking Peter Parker to space.
Peter Parker. What if Nintendo released Redfall?
I still think it'd be a bad game.
It would run at 60 frames per second. I don't know.
It would look half as good, but it would run better. Not good, but it would run better. And they would never release Redfall.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like you just can't talk about anything about PlayStation without getting some sort of stupid backlash about it. Can't critique them at all.
No, but it's the nature of the beast.
Yeah, I mean, when you're number 2, you can do whatever you want, right? Well, that's what I said. Like in my video about Phil Spencer, I was talking about how Nintendo came back from the Wii U, and the guy was like, "Oh, like as soon as I hear fanboy talk, I just can't listen to it." And I was like, "Did you watch? That's my I hate that, man. Like if he's like, did you ever get to the point of your video?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, when the fanboy talks, and I just tune out. I can't watch it." I'm like, you realize that I'm talking about the game industry as a whole, right? And I'm making points with other developers and other companies that came that came from being behind and came back up. Like that's kind of the point. I'm not using one perspective of a single platform.
These comments.
We talk about all the stuff. So yeah. Oh, I didn't watch the whole thing. I just couldn't bring myself like. Come on, man! If you're gonna make a statement like that, you got to watch the whole thing and then call me out. But I felt like that was a fair point.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Hey,
fanboys are trash. I hate fanboys. No, I don't. But
you don't hate fanboys. We're all a little bit of a fanboy sometimes. I'm a Nintendo fanboy right now.
Yeah, same here.
I would be. I was an Xbox fanboy when Halo Infinite came out. I was a PlayStation fanboy when Last of Us Part 2 came out.
Yeah, it's okay. You liked the game way more than I did, I think.
Last of Us?
Yeah.
Really?
I think so. I mean, I liked it a lot, but I don't know. I mean, it was really good. It was really good, but I think
This
I
is
was
news. What are you talking about?
well. I gave Assassin's Creed Game of the Year that year. I don't think
I
it's
thought you
anything
gave
new.
Last of Us.
I don't think I did. I'm pretty sure it was Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But I think even then, even back then, like even 2020, I was still like kind of on that like, it's the same game. There's not much different than the original. It plays better, but
Okay, I guess you feel about Last of Us how I feel about God of War, Ragnarok.
yeah. And see, like I love God of War, but also I can look at God of War 2018 and 2022. There's not that much difference. I mean,
The bigger worlds.
is it $70 DLC? I don't know. No, it's absolutely not. But
no.
But
God, if either
we make
one of
good
us,
narrative games.
if either one of us doesn't like Tears of the Kingdom, I'm gonna be so bummed over the next year.
No. I think it's gonna be incredible.
Like, just what? Like, are you afraid that like it's, for whatever reason it's just not gonna hit?
I don't think so.
You know what I mean? Like you're kind of
Tears of the Game is Game of the Year. One would say Game of the Decade. I got called out for that not too long ago. Like, oh, is the game even released yet? Bro, it's just speculation, man. I'm just
Harrison, stop being so much of a fanboy, bro.
exactly. Ugh.
Man, Noodles, you're hyping me up.
Oh, I already knew that. Like, Breath of the Wild is amazing, and then you add on like Minecraft elements to it. Come on, man! Like that's just incredibleness.
But what if it doesn't hit?
But what if it? Nah, it's good. I'm ready. I'm ready for an open world game. I'm ready. I'm ready to dive in.
Yeah, I think I am too.
Balls deep, man. Ready.
Balls deep. We've been hanging out, kind of in the shallow water. You know, avoiding bigger games. You know.
Yep. I haven't played. I really wanted to play Jedi, but I was like, you know what?
It looks.
I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. So, one of the goats. Oh yeah, I'm not working Friday. Are you crazy, Noodles? Zelda baby.
I'm working.
He's working.
I'm working.
Meanwhile, he's playing more than I am. All right. Well, I think we've ran this conversation to the ground.
I think we have.
Please, PlayStation families, don't come at me, please.
Just chill out. Hey, chill out this Friday too. Just don't talk about any graphics or anything like that.
Oh, it's gonna happen though. You already know it is. You already know.
This looks like a PS2 game.
I'll give it to Redfall. Like Redfall does not look that good. It looks pretty bad. All right, guys. Well, we will be back next week. With just Tears of the Kingdom madness.
Are we? How much are we talking about it next week? Are we setting any limits? Are we just talking about the opening area?
Yes, I think we'll definitely put like a spoiler alert or anything like that. When we talk about it, but we'll probably talk at least about the opening area of the game and what we've kind of we'll treat it kind of like Elden Ring. You know, I mean, we just
early game
talk. You know, middle game talk, late game talk. I don't know if we can necessarily do a spoiler cast for this game because it's just that huge, or we think it's that huge, but. Yeah, I think we'll treat it like kind of like Elden Ring. We'll just early, mid, late game stuff, and go from there. So yeah, just expect tons of Tears of the Kingdom next week. Listen to our beautiful voices while you play Tears of the Kingdom next week. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great time.
What a great combination.
Yeah, and then we'll sprinkle in some news if it happens, but I got a feeling there's not gonna be much this week.
Nah.
So
all the companies.
It's all hands on deck.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, Nick, where can they follow us if they want to follow us and listen to our fanboy talk?
Yeah, if you want to yell at us about PlayStation, you can do it at Gaming WT Bros on Twitter. If you want to email us about it, you can email us at gamingwiththebros at yahoo.com.
Yeah.
And then you can follow us on TikTok and Instagram at gamingwiththebroscast. And yeah, look forward to a lot of Zelda content over the coming months.
Yeah.
I don't know what else I'll be playing. So
I plan on doing a video doing all the unlocks for the amiibos because I have all of them, and I'm gonna
well,
have
you have all the Breath of the Wild.
I have all the Zelda amiibos there are.
God, you're a madman. Just crazy.
And then I'm gonna get the new, the new Link one. So I'll be posting that at some point.
Yeah.
So, Nick, this is it. This is the last episode before Tears of the Kingdom.
Who would have
Feels
thought?
weird.
Who would have thought we'd get here?
Feels weird.
Guess the next time.
Who thought we would talk about more about Xbox and PlayStation than Nintendo? But here we are.
Harrison, do you have the Guardian amiibo?
I do. It's in the back. It's in the very back. I got them all. Don't even question it. Don't even question it.
But do you have the Majora's Mask amiibo?
I do. I've got both Ocarina of Time amiibos.
Damn.
I've got the 8-bit Link amiibo. I've got that one. I've got.
You have the 9-bit?
no 9-bit.
Exclusive.
I've got the Toon Link. I've got the Wolf Amiibo, which is pretty, it's pretty common. The Boblikin Amiibo. I don't know if that one's super common anymore. You can see that guy right there.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was one for Boblikins.
Yeah. I got them all, baby.
Let's go.
All right, guys. Well, we will see y'all next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, noodles.
Adios, noodles. Stop recording. Still streaming, but we'll stop here in a second. Good show. We're gonna get yelled at.
Nah, it's all right. They know. People know what's up.
Just so funny. It's like, did you watch the whole video? No, I didn't.
The second I get a whiff of a fanboy.
Did you ever get you saw the comment?
Yeah. Have to look at it.
I'm just trying to make a point, man. Did you ever make a point?
A lot of people were in agreement with you, though.
Yeah, I think so. I did do a Zelda ranking. I had to record it twice. Like the first time, like the recording got lost or something. I don't know quite what happened. So I had to redo it, but that was fun.
Man, please stop trying to defend this man. Please, it makes you bad. So
that's what I was like a little bad. It makes me bad. What are you talking about? Like maybe a
little bad boy.
Yeah. Come on. Feels good, man. Trust him more than Jim Ryan.
We just never see anything of Jim Ryan.
That's true. That is true.
I like your thumbnail for the episode for 169 too. It's good.
Oh,
Redfall is bad.
Redfall is bad. I'm trying to get more creative with my my thumbnails.
Yeah, these are good.
But they've gotten a little bit better in the last couple months.
Oh yeah.
So, really. All right, broski. Well, I'm gonna get off here, get this thing uploaded. Noodles, appreciate you hanging out with us as always. Yeah, I'm ready for Tears of the Kingdom. You got me doubly hyped now.
You got me doubly hyped, triply hyped.
Greatest game of all time.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Could be a goat.
Could be the goat, man. All right, broski.
All right.
Later.
See you there.